I can't help it that I look good, smell good, woo, can dance all night long. You've been talking to the apes and the giraffes and chimpanzees again, haven't you? Yes, I'm excited!
All right. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Good evening. Fast Freddie here for another exciting episode of Fast Freddie Rocks Youngstown from the Youngstown studios in beautiful downtown Youngstown, Ohio. I am here with Joe Danier, and we are getting ready to start. Today is actually kind of a record. I think this is our first show that we ever started right at 7:30. This is amazing, and it's the day after St. Patrick's Day. So it's kind of amazing that I'm here and ready to go and ready to rock. And, you know, usually you would think maybe the day after St. Patrick's Day, I wouldn't even show up after the incident with the Super Bowl. Now, let me be clear about one thing. The Super Bowl, I really was sick the day following the Super Bowl. But if I was ever elected, if I was running for office, it's election time, if I was elected, it would be the day after the Super Bowl. And the Monday after a long St. Patrick's Day weekend would be a day off for everybody, national holiday. That's the way I would do it. So even though I did go pretty good last night and all weekend, actually, I started off the Wednesday before at Dropkick Murphys at Packard Music Hall, which was off the charts. And then we had the parade, and then we had this, and then we had that. So anyways, you know, I finally got the green out of my beard, but I still do have a drink here. And as always, we do our opening toast with a out of the glass from the White House Navy Mess. Our buddy James Minosky is one of the top chefs in the whole Navy and is stationed at the White House. And he gave us these glasses. So we usually start the show off with a salute to all our veterans and all our servicemen. So, oh, yeah, that's just what I needed today. So let's get right down to it. We got a fellow Southsider on the line with us right now. And I would like to welcome comedian Dominic Leonelli. And Dominic, originally from Youngstown, originally from the South Side, and he has moved on to New York City, and he's pursuing his comedy career. And he'll be coming back to Youngstown to the Funny Farm this weekend. He's got a show Friday night at Risers in Columbiana. And then he's got a show Saturday night at the new Funny Farm location inside Margarita Kings on 422 and Niles. Used to be the old Alberini's. Dominic, how you doing, man?
Yo, what's going on, man? How are you?
It's going good. I could hear you fine. I hope you could hear me fine. You're looking good on the screen. So you're going to be coming to Youngstown, coming back home for a couple shows this weekend.
Yeah, I'm super excited. This is going to be a good time. This is my first time really coming home and doing this show. And like, since I don't know, at least 7 years, 8 years, I did this thing called the Stupid Cupid thing that they did maybe 8 years ago you know, I'm just excited to see what happens. You know, we'll see. It's been a long time, you know.
Yeah, that's good. We'll see if some of your old friends and family members and stuff remember you, you know.
Yeah.
You've been away for a while. So that should be pretty exciting to come back and see some of your friends and some of your family and have a great show. So let's talk a little bit about your path to where you're gone. You know, well, first of all, you're from the South Side, fellow Wilson High guy. As a matter of fact, one of your classmates, Tom Faust, said, I remember Dominic, and he used to singing in the chapel to his girlfriends in the school at Wilson High School. Is that true, or is Tom just a little goofy? Now, we know Tom, so you can say he's goofy if you think he is.
Yeah, no, I don't know. Maybe I did say that. I don't remember much. A lot of good old days at Wilson, though.
If Tom said so, I'm going with it.
Go with it. I trust the guy.
Yeah, so you went to Wilson. What year did you graduate?
Well, so I should have graduated in 2004. I ended up, I decided to chase comedy early and drop out of high school. So, but as for a good message, I went to life skills and I finished. So, if anybody.
Well, see, you know what, though? That is the true Wilson High answer to that question. It's not what year you graduated. It's usually what year were you supposed to graduate, because you see these guys, you lost them somewhere along the way, and then you see them and it's like, where the hell did you go? And that sort of thing. So
yeah,
I know how that goes. That is the number one that shows you're a true Wilson High guy.
Right.
That was your answer, that, well, I was supposed to graduate in fill in the blank. And that, okay, so now he's a real South Sider.
And they
So
knew
how
it
did
too.
you
I
embark
remember.
on comedy, man? So now, how did you get in this? Okay, because was your family a little pissed that you said, "Hey, you know what? Screw school. I'm going to be a comedian."
No, they were. I mean, well, what happened was, so I started just doing like weird little jobs, and I started working at a car dealership. But I always did stand up like at the backyards in my friends' houses. They'd be like, "Oh, Dom's doing stand up at the party or whatever," and I just tell stories or whatever. Back then, when I was 18, and I was working at a car wash, and actually a comedian from Youngstown got me into doing stand up, Jimmy Bartok. I don't know if you
Yeah.
remember when he was around doing stand up. So he
Yes.
just, he used to tell me, "Hey, you should try it. You should do it. Go to this place." So I went to, he sent me to a place and I got up and man, I loved it. Like I was hooked. I had my friends showed up my first night.
And so you got that first taste of blood, and you says, "Okay, this is it. This is what I'm going to pursue." Okay, so then you start there, and then how do you wind up in New York City?
Well, it's funny. I kept going to different clubs. My car's like blowing up. I went to the funny stop. I pull in there, I had this old BMW. It's overheating. I get antifreeze all over the owner's car. Like everywhere, you have to drive 2 hours to do 5 minutes. And all this in Ohio. So I started looking at it as, if I really want to get better, I'm going to have to go somewhere I could get up more. And, first time I came to New York, I was so scared. I turned around and drove back home. I lasted 45 minutes the
Uh-huh.
first time I moved to New York. And
Yeah.
then I was just like, I can't give up. I had somebody push, not meaning to, but like a friend I worked with, he was like, "Man, you're never going to move to New York. You've been talking about it for years." And I just went right then on vacation and got like a couple auditions at some clubs here on vacation.
So what
And
was it like? I mean, what are some of the comedy clubs like, especially for an up and coming comedian in New York City that people don't realize? What is that whole scene like? And and how did you start building your chops at these places?
well, New York, you could just get up so much. There's so much stage time on any given night. There's hundreds of shows throughout the whole 5 boroughs. So you just really go around, you try to find shows or people that know you from other shows. And, a night in New York, like, or they have like the tourist clubs where they rely a lot on the tourists. I was playing a club like that in Times Square, and it was just in and out, 7, 8, 9 shows in one night, and people just in and out all day. And I
So
still
that's the
see
one
the
where the
people.
guy's standing on the corner with the sign, "Comedy show tonight,"
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So these things, I've never went to one. Now I'm going to have to go to one. So these things just go on just like nonstop. They're just going.
Yeah, I mean, if you come to New York, I think you're better off sticking with like one of the name top clubs because there is those little ones that sometimes could just get you on some tourist. You'd be a little unsure. But lucky for
Yeah.
me, I had that opportunity because that's where I built my chops. I started hosting at these clubs and it became a good time. But yeah, it was like just one of those little barely start, not they don't have paper towels. It's always some BS going on in the business,
Yeah.
changing tax forms every 2 years. One of those clubs. But lucky they shut down now. Since then they're gone. But lucky for me, there's places like that. Because the other clubs, it's like lineups. When I first moved here, I remember you'd see all these guys like the big names you see now, like the Shane Gillis and the Andrew Schultz, and you'd see them popping at these clubs here.
Now, so what were some of the misconceptions that you had, and what were some of the early lessons that you learned once you got in there, once you went from like these open mic nights around Ohio and whatever? So, what were some of the things that you learned that maybe you weren't expecting, or something that caught you by surprise? What were those early days like there?
I would say something that caught me by surprise is like in my mind, I just thought since I'm in the city, once you start to get good, like the doors just open. I just thought there's some magical elevator I'm right. And I was thinking once I figure out comedy, I'll get to the penthouse suite. The doors were open and I'm good. Well, those doors opened and there was no audience there. I still didn't have any fans. So it's something I realized like, wow, okay. So not only do you need to be good at the craft, you need to get fans. Nine
Yeah.
times out of 10, your fans aren't going to really come find you if you're not trying actively to put out work.
Right, right. So you're on Facebook. People can find you on Facebook and
Yeah, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and
all over the place. So you're working
yeah.
on some TikTok videos and stuff. I'll have to look some of them up. But what are some of your like TikTok things look like?
Yeah, that's what I do mostly. I post like these little TikToks, and fans will see me around the city, and it's real cool. People take pictures with me, but it's just like little, like if I'm somewhere, I try to make little reels, 20 seconds, make it something funny. I got like how to date or places in New York, and I just say some stuff,
Well,
changing with the times.
There's got to be something to that too, because one of the people I follow is Andrew Dice Clay, and
Okay.
and Dice is always around New York City doing something silly or something crazy, and I mean, if a guy like that is out there using that must tell you that that's the direction that you should be going in.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I love his TikToks here. Are you here to take a picture?
Yeah, with the face.
Like,
Hey, are you here? When he
Yeah.
started about, for people that have never seen this, he's just there like in a stocking cap and sunglasses, and he just goes up to random people and he'll go, "Are you Judy from Christian Singles Mingle? Am I supposed to meet you here?" Or there'll just be people sitting on him. "Hey, did you want the picture with the face?" And these people look at him. And I'll tell you, I think those are so funny. I really laugh a lot. But like I'm saying, though, if a guy like Dice is out there and he sees the potential of what this does, I mean, that's the way to go. So you're definitely on the right track. Now, how about the inspiration and creative inspiration in New York City? Do you find it to be a different vibe than other places? Do you find it more because of the way things are going? Is it more of an inspiration to you, or what?
Yeah, I find it a little bit more creative inspiration. What's cool is you're around, you get to see all your friends. It's a real big scene. So there's a few thousand comedians just running around. So when you're all over the city, you're seeing about 20 of your friends a night. And then sometimes you catch each other's sets, or you see what they're doing, and being around that many positive, creative people. Also, just to help make content, because like I shot a movie. I used so many actors in New York and comedians I know. If I was somewhere else, I wouldn't be able to do it.
Yeah. But then, of course, too, on the other hand, I'm sure that Youngstown has got to be an inspiration for a lot of your material as well, because we have some stuff probably in Youngstown that you ain't going to find anywhere else. That the only place you're going to get that inspiration is from Youngstown.
Yeah, 100%. That's why I'm super excited to come back, because even for the audience you're playing, it brings out a different performance out of me. So when I'm going back home and I'm playing my friends and my family, I feel like this is really like, getting a master's degree in comedy, because they say if you can entertain who you came up with, then that's who you got to be good with entertaining. So, there's that big aspect of it. I'm excited to see what comes out of me in front of I got my uncle coming to the show that like taught me how to tie my shoes and all that, so it's going to be a big, experience to entertain family and friends, compared to I've always done strangers everywhere, all over the world. I've been in Rome, Iceland, I've been cruise ships in Hawaii and all these, the Bahamas, and doing comedy. And this, to me, I feel like this is the most important show.
Yeah, and you know what? Your family's probably your toughest audience, because they know you, and there's just that different vibe with your relationship where it's like, "Oh, this asshole," or "Here he goes," or "Hey, why don't you tell him about this?" or whatever. But I think well, when you look at the comedy influence in Youngstown, when you look at Ed O'Neill, Al Bundy was patterned off of like one of his uncles from Youngstown, so and you look at Al Bundy and you probably look and go, "Yeah, this guy got to be, there's some kind of Youngstown thing going on here with Al Bundy."
Yeah, 100%. And then even like I didn't know Warner Brothers lived here for a little bit in Youngstown.
Yeah,
that's pretty wild. And Richard Pryor's on his comedy special, when he talks about the mafia, it's Youngstown.
Oh, that's one of his funniest bits. And that's a true story, too. That's a true story. And he nails it. If you really want to know it, that's one of those things. If you really want to know what Youngstown's about, watch that Richard Pryor when he's talking about, I guess it happened over here at the Park Burlesque, which used to be right around the corner here. And the mob didn't want to pay the dancer, and then he pulls out a blank gun, and next thing you know, they befriend him, and that that is just so Youngstown. I just when he starts talking out and he talks to those voices and stuff, and you can just see that happening. At least in my mind, I have a vivid picture of what he's talking about. If you don't know what we're talking about, just look up Richard Pryor, Youngstown strip club or whatever, Youngstown mob. And I'll tell you, the first time I saw that, I laughed so hard. And to this day, every time I see it, I always want to say, here, this is, he just nails it with that.
Yeah.
Now, how about in your travels? You meet other people from Youngstown, or people that are, that want to know about Youngstown. People are familiar about Youngstown. People that might have some misconceptions about Youngstown. What's it like when you're out and about?
Yeah, I was surprised so many people know Youngstown. I didn't realize how known it was. And, because I try to brush it off when I say, where I'm from. I'll say over by Akron or something. And, sometimes I don't want to tell everybody exactly where, it's strange people ask when you're in this type of business. But either way, I never think they'll know Youngstown. So, but then they'll say, well, where I'm from so-and-so. And I'll say Youngstown. Oh, I know all about Youngstown. Or even I might bring it up on stage, and so many people know about it. Like, I've worked with people, and it is a lot. Youngstown has a story. Everybody's got a story about it. I worked with this one guy. He worked for ABC News on a cruise ship. Like I was on a cruise ship, and he worked for the news channel in Youngstown for the 70s, maybe he was saying. And he was telling me all about the mob stuff and how he was terrified to be there and stuff like that. And then, a New York cop actually even told me, he goes, oh, Youngstown. He goes, yeah, we know about that place. It's on a list for a dangerous neighborhood, which is crazy too,
Oh, yeah. I'm sure everybody, you mentioned Youngstown, they probably mentioned Boom Boom right off the bat,
Kelly Pavlik worked my corner for a fight once. I was boxing. I seen you mention the Packard Music Hall. I had a fight there once, man. Dude, I did not do good. I was going against like the second best amateur in the country. But either way, I had one fight at like Buckeye Elks, and Kelly Pavlik worked my corner. I couldn't believe it. Like, something was up with my trainer. He was sick. I don't know what happened, or he was late. And Kelly worked my corner for the fight, and everything he said worked perfectly like a charm. It was crazy.
Oh, that's wild. Yeah, I'll tell you, back in our day, the boxing in Youngstown, especially when Boom Boom was starting to take off and everything, it was just amazing, the boxing scene in Youngstown. As a matter of fact, my buddy Paul Mavrikis is checking in from out in California, and Greek, he boxed in the Golden Gloves. He was a Golden Gloves boxer, and man, I remember when Boom Boom was just going through the ranks of the Golden Gloves and stuff, and would be at Struthers Fieldhouse, and we followed him all the way, and it was just crazy, And let's see, I got to say hi to Peggy's checking in. Peggy says she's going to be at the show Saturday night at Margarita King's, and I also got to say hi to Trenda checking in from Florida today. So we got people all over the place checking in. Now, I saw you on one podcast, and you told the funniest true story about you bought this used car and it caused you all kind of problems. Do you remember that story?
Yeah, I think I had a lot of stories like that, but I had one where I bought this. I bought a used car off of a guy, and what do you call? I was getting the one. I don't know if you're talking about the one where I was getting shot at in the car, but I had that. Yeah, I bought this blue and white Camaro off a guy, and he was so quick to sell it, and it really stood out. Had these white wheel tubs that was all this blue color, and I couldn't believe when it was happening. And then after like the second or third time, I was like, I gotta paint this car, so I primered it all black. I mean, I had some crazy cars in Youngstown. I had one, the power steering box, it didn't work, so I took out the steering box, and I had ordered a new one, and I'm just waiting for it to come in, and somebody stole the car. We found it. It was in the woods. Just a straight line from my driveway in the woods. Like, imagine what they were thinking when they were turning the wheel or whatever.
What really caught me on that one about the car that you had to repaint? I know some guy that bought an old beat up pickup truck one time off of this guy, and it was a former like ODOT truck. and it stood out because it was yellow. It was a yellow
Yeah.
construction truck. Well, this guy, I guess, was one of the biggest dirt bags and one of the biggest troublemakers and one of the most hated people in Columbiana County. And this guy could not drive down the road in this thing without getting picked up by the cops or somebody shooting at him. He said it was the biggest hassle in the world because all the cops were looking for this guy constantly. He owed people money, and he said it was the biggest hassle in his life driving this. And then when you start telling that story, I just started laughing. I go, "Yep, see it, Youngstown right there, man."
Yeah.
Yeah, that's some wild stuff there. So, what else what do you talk about in your act? What are some of the things that you cover, topics, and?
Well, in this act in particular, I've been working on. I want to tell the story basically about how I started off in Youngstown, and I went to Taft and Wilson, and tell some stories about the boxing days and work, and then going to New York and the struggles of moving to New York. And some of the stuff I got involved in here with getting apartments, and things like that. I've had landlords pulling knives on other people that live there. I've seen so much stuff in these places I lived in. It's insane. And, I'll talk a little bit about that and the jobs, all kinds of crazy jobs I had here. And, and then tied into doing social media now, even like little things now, like, doing social media and I get recognized a lot through social media. Like, I don't know exactly how it works. I mean, people will send me TikTok videos I'm in, but my name's not mentioned nowhere. And they'll have 5 million views. But people have been coming up to me all the time. Hey, I recognize you from TikTok. And sometimes, I'm in like the foot cream aisle or I'm at the skin doctor, something crazy, people are taking pictures. But it's different.
Now, living in New York City, lately you've been seeing a lot of stuff on the news about the subways and migrants and all this stuff. It is, I was there not too long ago, and it didn't seem as bad to me as the media is portraying it. What do you think? Do you think it is like this ultra dangerous thing, or how do you navigate, or what? Would you tell somebody, "Oh, don't ever come to New York City," or whatever? Because it seems to me whenever I go there, I have a blast,
No, I tell people come. I mean, watch your back. There's a lot more people selling fruit. Like, I don't know if it's a bad thing or what, but I'm telling you, there's a fruit cart every 4 feet. So, just bring some money and, you're going to have a good time. Just watch your back. Watch you don't get, like, I know there is, like everywhere else, there is, like in New York too. There's going to be some people trying to get you. That's what they do. If you catch yourself drunk somewhere, stumbling, somebody's probably going to mess with you. There's this guy, I didn't even know. I just hang with him. I was doing comedy in Times Square. And between sets, I'd be outside checking out the city. And there was this guy I became good friends with over the years. And I asked him, I was like, "So what do you do in Times Square?" And he goes, "Oh, I pickpocket people." I had no clue. And, I'll be honest with you. And in the time I knew him, I lost my wallet 3 times. And I'm thinking, like, I don't know what's going on so I started keeping it in my front pocket, and it all made sense. I'm like, this dude robbed me 3 times. Like,
yeah,
I guarantee you it was this guy. So you really never know.
Yeah, that's the thing. You got to watch your back at all times. Keep that wallet where it's close by, and like you say, you got to be aware of your surroundings too. And just keep an eye on things.
You're walking around drunk, and you get some girls that just came off the strip club talking to you about a private party. Maybe it's not the best idea.
Yeah. Hey, some old guy from Youngstown, and they want me to come to their party. Oh yeah, I'm in, man.
Yeah, right. I know Dominic Leonelli.
I wouldn't go to a party with you in Youngstown.
Right.
Hey, we ain't that dumb, Maybe somebody from Iowa or Kansas might fall for that, but we ain't gonna fall for it.
Youngstown definitely saved me. I don't think I could have made it in New York without growing up in that certain way, because it really is. There is some people that could fall for stuff. I've seen it, and you'd be surprised. But it definitely got me ready for the city. I remember the crazy thing is I still love Youngstown. New York's amazing. I'm just Youngstown in my heart. I want to go back, buy a house there eventually, hang out and fly out for shows.
Yeah,
No
that's the
place
way
like
to
it.
do it. Well, that's like I don't know if you knew or if you're familiar with Tammy Piscatelli, and
Yeah,
she's an Italian, and pretty. I haven't seen her around lately, but that's what she did. I mean, she went out to New York City, and then did some work in L.A. and stuff, and then she ended up moving to Meadville after that because she wanted to raise a family, and she's like, I don't want to raise them here. She moved to Meadville, and she runs her whole operation out of there.
that's
And so
great. Oh, that's
so
really
she,
cool.
she's living like out in the middle of Western PA, laid back, and then when it's time to go to the shows, off you go, man.
Yeah, there's those airports. They're easy to get to.
Yeah. So what are some of your aspirations? What are you looking to do here now? Well, like, what's your next step from where you're at now?
Well, I want to continue to grow the social media and the videos. Like, I wrote a movie. I'm almost through filming it. It's going to be about an hour long. Like, I really put a lot into this movie, and I'm writing my second one now. So I want to continue to put those out. So if I could build up the social media and the money touring to where I could just do it on my own platform, I'd love that. Like, have my own things, be in creative control to make things and put it on YouTube for my fans to enjoy, and maybe make some whatever I need to make some revenue from the ad money or touring stand up, just to
Yeah.
be able to continue to do that, because I had so much fun. I just did my first full-on movie. I mean, I wrote it, casted it. They
Uh-huh.
had locations and whole crews with the things and the boom poles, and it was just magical. I was like, okay, I want to do more of this, and everything clicked, and it was cool to see what I wrote work on set.
Oh yeah. So what was the movie about? You going to divulge a little bit of it?
Yeah,
Or?
no, it's called Billis. It's about this guy. He always knows the weather because he hit his head when he was younger, so it's a weird thing. But he's this rock star from Canada, and he moves to New York to find love. He doesn't want the fame anymore. And the thing is, it's a slapstick adult kind of humor. But
Yeah.
so he's like, Gene Simmons from Kiss had the move where he stick his tongue out. Well, Billis, he used to wave his thing around. He's got a big, because his mother was in porno. So, he's got this big, everything got burned in the fire. So anytime he misses her, he's got to watch her movies, it's kind of messed up. He just talks, he's kind of the loser guy, well, hey, she was a good girl. And everybody makes fun of her at the office. And then they hire a girl from Canada, and she knows him. She's like, oh my God, that's Billis. Tells all the girls, rock star, big wang. And it's a company merger. He solves it because he always knows the weather. A partner tried to put a murder on him. And I got these Italian guys from New York, big TikTok guys that are going to play the hitmen. And it's about 90% of it's shot, man. We're running around, we're fighting, girls are pulling me in closets trying to make out with me. And it's just, it was a lot of fun, man, all around.
Oh, that sounds pretty wild. So when's this coming out? Yeah, I would just love to see this, man.
Yeah, hopefully it'll be finished, and I'm saying it by summer it should be out. We're hoping by June. So we just have to shoot 2 more quick shoot days and finish the editing. And by June it should be out. So
see, that's the one thing that's pretty wild about the way things are right now, as far as creativity and stuff. There are so many different outlets that you could get this stuff out that you don't know what might hit where, you might throw a TikTok out there, like you say, next thing you know, 10 million hits, or, you throw out this movie and, it gets rolling, and you never know. I mean, it's amazing on how, there's, I mean, there is some rhyme or reason to it, but by the same token, you could throw something out there that you wouldn't even expect. And, it just goes through the roof. It goes crazy.
And it's fun to do. Like, it's funny. I've been putting off writing this movie and doing it for like 10 years. And now I think about it, all I did was put off a whole bunch of fun. Like, I'm worried about all these other things that didn't even exist. Just sitting down and writing the movie, I had the best time of my life. So that was the craziest thing to me. And then acting in it, I was like, man, I should have did this 10 years ago,
Yeah.
But I'm happy I can't wait to do my next one now,
Yeah. Another guy from Youngstown, Mark Riccadonna. He's out in New York.
I love Mark.
Oh, you know Mark? Okay.
Yeah. He looked out for me in New York.
Mark was working on a project that hopefully it'll take off a little more, and I want to be a part of it. He come up with this this thing about a radio station, and like it just everybody there is dysfunctional and stuff. And I said, you know what, you got to get me as a consultant on this because I could add to whatever. But you know, for what he had for like his demo and stuff, I mean, it was just really, really funny, man. You know,
Yeah.
and it's like it's good to see you guys out there being creative like that too. That's what I really enjoy is the creativity and seeing people, you know, follow that, you know, that are into it and are pursuing that kind of thing. Because, you know, like it's just describing that movie, nowadays somebody will pick that up and it gets a cult following or something, and the next thing you know, boom, it's through the roof. And it's crazy the way it is out there now.
Yeah, it really is. And you know, you never know. Like even like when I met Mark, it was funny. I met him in New York at Comic Strip and we hit it off about Youngstown, and we were tight from that point on. Like the people you meet, maybe down the road, me and Mark will be in a project. I seen something he did, it was great in New York, and he had this whole play about a comedian's journey. And man, I'm telling you, it was great. And it was like this black box theater and just real good and raw, just entertaining too.
Yeah, I really dig that, man. I like following guys like you and Mark and stuff just to see that creativity, and it's out of the box. It's not like, you know, the same stuff that you see everywhere or anything. Because I'll tell you what, for me, and I really have nothing against TV or something, but it seems like a lot of that stuff out there nowadays, it's nothing. You know, it doesn't trip my trigger at all. I would think something more like what you're working on would catch my attention as opposed to, you know, something else, you know.
Oh wow, yeah, that's really cool, man. That's interesting.
But yeah,
Yeah.
that the one that Mark was working on at the radio station, I said, listen, man, if this thing ever takes off, you got to call me, because I have so many scenarios and different stories where we could take this all true, all, you know, you're in the radio business for 40 years. Let me tell you something. It's not like it is now, but back in the day, man, we had some real characters. It was just like, you know, whether they were drunks or womenizers or just screw ups or whatever, you know, and you just, and they just kept coming for like 30 years. It was just like a constant string of, it was like living WKRP in Cincinnati. It really was, you know, and now, even though it's changed, there's less people and stuff, but, you know, it was really, just some crazy stuff and some crazy characters and some crazy scenarios and people getting in trouble for stupid things, or, you know, it's almost like endless as to, you know, where something like that could go. You know, I thought WKRP only scratched the surface. And what made me like that thing about that Mark was working on is because, you know, everybody has listened to radio in their life, and everybody can relate to it, but there really hasn't been too many TV shows about radio, you know? I mean,
Right.
yeah, you know, I had, you know, Frasier was kind of like that, and news radio was out there. But I mean, you know, like the WKRP type thing, you know, nobody has ever really captured it that way. And he was on the right track with what he was doing, I thought, you know?
Yeah. No, I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, maybe Mark, me and you will hook up and we'll be in there, you know?
Yeah.
you could be the crazy nighttime DJ that, you know,
yeah,
just getting in trouble in the station van and stuff like that.
Yeah,
you know?
Smoking cigarettes in the station like the old days.
Oh yeah.
I wish I could have seen entertainment back then. You know, I think that would have been the coolest thing. Now you walk in, there's all these rules. I'm like, hey, when I read about Richard Pryor, he was allowed to rock in his seat. Like, why can't I? You know, it's crazy.
Yeah. So who are some of your favorite comedians? Who are some of the people that you like?
I'll tell you who really cracks me up. They kill me crazy is, I know I always mess up his name, but Sebastian Maniscalco, I should know his name by now, but the physical comedy that he has is just hilarious to me.
The one when he's talking about company comes to the house and how they're peeking out the windows, and he's like, we get into commando mode and all this stuff. And, you know, I'll tell you one that Sebastian made me laugh because, you know, it was like one of those things that after I saw it, you know, the exact same thing the exact same thing happened to me. And he was talking about pulling into a gas station in a bad neighborhood, unknown, late at night. And he goes through this whole thing about being in the hood and stumbling across this gas station. And it was like 2 weeks before that. Me and my son were in Cleveland. I was on dead E, and it was like, we're going to have to get off here, you know? And we pull into this neighborhood, and there were so many shady characters hanging around and stuff.
Yeah.
And if you want to see a funny one, you got to look that one up, you know. Or his dad having a garage sale is another one. You know, when he's talking about his old man and his garage sale, I was like, oh man, yeah, he's really good, you know.
Yeah. And you know, the type of comedy I really do enjoy. I grew up watching Married with Children. That Ed O'Neill, those faces, to me, that is the funniest. And, you know, Sebastian makes the face. It just gets the gut laugh out of me, you know?
Yeah.
I really enjoy that.
Yeah, you know, and I think he's, like you say, he's really good at like that body language stuff, or just the way he'll, you know, peeking out the window, or just, you know, or his wife says something, or, you know, it really does make it. Hey, Tom Cordell says it's good to hear from you. Tom Cordell checking in here.
Oh, that's what's up,
he's going to have to tell Larry about all your success.
That is great. Yeah, I want to talk a little bit about all those things too, like bringing that on stage. You know, I really like those types of comedians where Sebastian talks about his family and everybody could relate, like how like you and your son going to that gas station. Those types of jokes to me is what I like putting my stand-up towards. So, you know, you guys, everybody feels a part of it.
Yeah, you know, I think that's one of the things too. The more relatable you are, the better off you are, especially when you come to that. You know, sometimes that's all it takes is you look around your family, you look around your coworkers, you know, just around your daily activities. And, you know, if you really look close enough, you could come up with all kinds of stuff, you know, that's like, oh man, you know, just that, well, like Seinfeld, just that observational humor or whatever, or just the jokes about nothing, you know, show about nothing, and it works, you know?
And I know when I'm talking to my family, like when I'm setting up meetings back home, I feel like I wonder if they secretly know a big piece of this is so I could get some material. Yeah, no, we should do brunch. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've known a lot of guys that said that. You know, all of a sudden, their parents come to the show or something, and hey, that wasn't funny. What are you telling people that for? Or something?
Yeah.
You know, what's wrong with you?
I
You
pay
go
my
on there.
taxes.
Yeah, you know, no, it's a joke. They don't know. They think it's a joke. Yeah, what are you doing up there? I'll give you one of these. How about that? You know?
Yeah, it's called a lost investment.
Yeah.
No, I told my dad, I said, look, you don't got nothing to worry about. Early on, I remember I had him come to a show, and then I single him out. There he is, and I'm all doing all these jokes. But now, like, I don't want them work. You know, I put a lot of the jokes on me, and you know, I keep telling my father, you got nothing to worry about. Don't worry, it's gonna be about me.
So, how about music? What do you like as far as music goes? Who are your favorite bands, or what do you like?
You know who I just got into, and I'm not going to be able to really name the songs. I've been going down rabbit holes, but a lot of Bob Dylan recently, man.
Oh yeah.
I can't believe I never stumbled upon, like, you know, I mean, I heard a song here or there, but I just, you know, he was a big New York thing, and it just seems like it keeps popping up. So I'm like, let me check this guy out. And, you know, I never really got into Bob Dylan, and I'm really enjoying just sitting back, listening to some of his songs, how it makes you feel, you know.
Oh yeah, I've been a Bob Dylan fan for years. I've probably seen him about 30, 40 times easily.
Wow.
Traveled all over the country to see him here and there. Saw him at the Beacon Theater in New York. But the thing with Bob is too, now the Bob of now, you really have to understand him, because like my son just went to see him in Florida a couple weeks ago. He might not play any songs that you know at this point.
Right.
You know what I mean? You know, you're not going to go there and hear like the greatest hits album. You know, Bob does whatever he wants to do. And, but, you know, there's just something about him. I mean, when you look at all the songs that he has written over the years that are just masterpieces, I mean, he's like he's more of an advanced poet. You know, he's the only songwriter to win a Nobel Prize for writing. and he's the only songwriter to ever win it. And I'll tell you, when you start looking at the words of some of those songs, and it's just like, damn, where does this guy come up with this stuff? I saw he did an interview with Ed Bradley, and he started rattling off like some lyrics from Ed Bradley says, "Well, Bob, where do you come up with all these ideas?" And Bob just started rattling off like 6, 7, 8 lines from a song that was just like really. And he goes, well, I can't explain where it comes from. He goes, where do these words come from? And you're just sitting there looking at him going, yeah, that's a good question, man. That was some crazy stuff that you just said there, And when you look now, Bob, and he's still writing songs that are like that. I mean, some of his more recent albums, like Time Out of Mind and some of those, Modern Times, I think, I mean, it's still some of his best songs. I mean, the guy, he could write a song that every single line just goes from one to the next. It's like it's not a throwaway line or whatever. It's just like boom, boom, boom. You're saying, going, how does a guy sit there and just come up with this stuff and just write it down?
Yeah,
so,
I heard.
What? Here's one for you. Bob is a huge boxing fan. And he used to spar with Boom Boom. Boom Boom and Bob Dylan are good friends, and Ray used to spar with Bob all the time.
Wow.
Yeah, Bob has this boxing gym in his house, and full ring, and on the walls he has like pictures like old bluesmen and old boxers. And
no way.
Yeah, and him and Ray are really tight, and Ray used to spar with him all the time. And then Ray said every once in a while he'd give Bob a little shot to let him know he was there, Yeah. And Bob would say, "Hey Ray, you got to back off a little bit. I still got a song or two in there, But yeah, Bob is a huge boxing fan, big boxing historian, and him and Ray used to spar all the time. That was his sparring partner.
Yeah, I heard a story about him where I guess he was in New York and he went to go meet his buddy. He went to the wrong house, and his wife, the person's wife, was like, "Damn, Bob Dylan's here." So she's like, "Yeah, he'll be home shortly." It was like he was looking for like a different Paul or something. Did you ever hear that story? And he just sat at the house, and the guy comes home and he's like, "Hey," I guess Bob Dylan was like, "Oh, you're not the guy," or whatever.
Oh, that is wild. That is wild. But you know what? That's one thing too I like about, New York City when you take a walk through Greenwich Village, and Cafe Wah and all those places where Bob started, and you still get that vibe, you still walk in there and you can picture 1962, 63, 64 and Bob, walking around there with his guitar and in his case and playing these different places and stuff. You really get the vibe there when you see all that stuff,
Yeah, you do.
But yeah, Bob is definitely amazing. Bob is definitely amazing. Well, listen, Dominic, I got to wrap it up. I got to get on to our next segment, but I hope you had a good time here. Hey, are you related to Tommy Leonelli, by the way?
Yeah, that's my uncle. Yeah.
Are you kidding? We graduated together,
Oh, wow,
and,
that's crazy.
We do the Wilson High run together, the motorcycle run at the end of August. We've been doing it now for like 20 years.
Wow, that's really cool.
Yeah, and I've known Tommy since 9th grade,
Yeah, wow, that's really cool. Yeah, that's my uncle.
Yeah, maybe he'll be out at the show.
I hope so. I know his daughter and her husband are coming. I don't know if you know his daughter Maria. She's coming. She boxed.
Yeah.
She was tough too. I held the mitts for her. She had some combinations.
Oh yeah. Tommy was a tough cookie, man. Still is.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what. It's been great talking to you, Dominic Leonelli. He's going to be at the Funny Farm Comedy Club, and he is going to be there Friday at Risers in Columbiana, right?
Yeah.
And then Saturday at the new Funny Farm location and Margarita Kings on 422 in Niles. And I'll definitely be out at the show, and we'll hang out, and maybe we'll get Uncle Tommy to come out, and we'll share a few more stories there.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, Dominic, tell us every place on social media and everything where they can find you.
Okay, everything Dominic Leonelli, like Instagram, Dominic Leonelli. You'll see I post videos daily. Facebook, Dominic Leonelli. And YouTube, Dominic Leonelli. So just go after all those. I have a TikTok Dom of NYC, but I don't know. It's up to you. The YouTube, the Instagram, the Facebook, everything Dominic Leonelli. And I post videos all the time. You're going to see a lot of videos daily. So please subscribe. Check those out.
All right, brother. Well, listen, it's good talking to you. Always love my South Side and fellow Wilson High Red Man, and I will see you Saturday night over at the Funny Farm, Margarita Kings and Niles.
All right, cool. Looking forward to it.
Dominic, thanks for taking some time out with you. I love you, brother, and we'll see you Saturday.
Love you too, man. Thanks.
Cheers, man. All right. Interesting cat there, huh?
Heck yeah.
Good to see these young guys, working on all this stuff here, up and coming, man. But yeah, if you're not doing anything Saturday night or Friday night, head on out and see Dominic Risers in Columbiana and also at Margarita King on 422 in Niles. I think the show started at 7, so they're early. You'll get out and either you can go carousing or I don't know. But I'm giving my liver a break. I was stumbling so much, Joe Biden called up and said I should probably limit my personal appearances. He had Hunter call me and suggest an intervention.
So it's going to be a dry March, April?
No, of course not.
Couple days.
Yeah, come on. Yeah. By the time I get over to the Funny Farm on Saturday, you know where we'll go. But, I really like seeing these guys, moving up and stuff like that and doing all these creative
things. So many
things.
venues now. I love that this has come to life.
Yes. Yeah. And even like when he was talking about his movies and stuff like that, years ago, you couldn't get all this kind of entertainment. I think the one thing that's missing is, and some people, used to hate the record companies and because of all the politics and how they want to own these artists and everything. But one thing about the record companies is they had a way of getting product out there and making stars and developing people. And I think that's what's kind of missing right now. They had that whole machinery set up, with the radio stations and with the record companies and with the venues and the promoters and the TV people. And, they just had that whole machine that once you got into it, that you could go somewhere.
Do you think that like social media, that some of these artists thought they can do it themselves better and they found out wrong?
Oh, that could be for some people. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. But you know what? It's the whole total package, even like what we do, and what these guys are doing, and I wish I had more time because, I would be on Instagram more. I would be on TikTok more, but you only got so many hours in a day, and I have a regular job. Some people disagree, but it takes time. It's time consuming.
Yeah.
So, when there were certain things that I have to get done when I could be doing a TikTok or something like that,
What do you think about TikTok getting banned?
Well, here's what I think. You ready for this?
I'm ready.
I'm glad you asked. I say leave TikTok the hell alone. We have way bigger problems with China than frickin' TikTok. You know what? China wants to blow us up. They took all our jobs. They sent a virus to screw us all up, and we're worried about TikTok. These guys, to me, they pick these things and they just grandstand on them. Because you're saying China and TikTok and social media, and it's just like they just hit these trigger points. And I think that's the biggest problem. I even hear some of these political ads out there and stuff. And it's just like, okay, they just, they go to these focus groups or whatever, and they got like a list of trigger words, keywords, and they just throw them out. And I hear some of these things, and it's just like somebody just sat there and strung together everything that's going to hit you, and it's just like, oh, come on, please. Or even like some of these guys running for like state representative. We're going to shut down the borders. How about let's deal with like maybe uninsured drivers in the state of Ohio?
Ohio should be top priority, right?
Yeah. But they got to get that in there, and it's just like, come on, man. We got more problems on an everyday basis. I'll tell you, a couple people in my family got in accidents with uninsured drivers. And guess who pays? We do.
Yep.
They raise your rates too. You get hit by an uninsured driver. They don't go after the uninsured driver. They charge you and then they raise your rates.
Yep.
And you know what it is? They don't want to pay. The insurance companies don't want to pay. So they set that state minimum. And so, you know, if somebody hits you and they're covered with the state minimum, if you're lucky enough, then, you know, that's all you're getting.
Yep.
You know, okay, well, go sue those people. Well, the people couldn't afford to get their driver's license back and they don't have any insurance. And so what are you going to get? But, you know, this one guy in the accident, clearly his fault. No insurance, you know, couldn't even come up with a deductible. You know, so let's, you know, I think these are things that like the state representatives should worry about. Let's worry about the state stuff and, you know, the roads and traffic and, you know, there's so many things. You know, make the parks nice. And
now, if they said they were going to enforce the border of Michigan, I might be all for that.
Yeah. Or Pittsburgh. If we could do something about that border in Pittsburgh, their Steelers fans are just crossing that.
They
thing.
are.
They're all over. Look around.
I saw sweatshirts yesterday. I'm like, what?
Gold. I know. St. Patrick's Day, and you're wearing black and gold. What's wrong with you?
Get them out of here. Get them backstage.
That's the border I'm shutting down. The Pennsylvania border. And now as soon as weed gets legal, they're all going to come running over here.
I'm telling you, stay
out. Stay out. And we want you to, you know, if you want to come over, you got to, you know, renounce your allegiance to the Steelers.
Yep.
You got to throw away the black and gold at the border.
You got to burn it on the spot.
Yes, you do. You have a little burn barrel there. You throw it in there. You get to throw the match in. When you come across, we'll give you a Guardians jersey. We'll give you an Ohio State hat. We'll give you a Cavaliers hoodie. So you look like, you know, that you know what you're doing. Okay, you got the Cavs hat, you got the Ohio State hoodie, you got your Guardians jersey,
and you got to say Browns. The pledge allegiance to the Browns.
yes. That's what we're gonna do. That is my.
That'll keep them out.
That's right. Yeah, watch this. That's where we're going to start, and then we're going to do the same thing in Toledo.
Yep.
If you come over there wearing maize and blue,
boom.
Yep, you better.
Folks, baby.
You ain't getting in. Although right now they kind of turn the tables on us because everybody goes to their weed dispensaries up there. You know, That's another thing. When it's going to be almost a year now, and they still haven't got this going because they didn't like it. They didn't want it to pass, so they're just dragging their feet as much as they can, and then they want to water it down and change this. And well, we're not going to allow this. We're not. Quit being a sore loser. The people voted. The people wanted it, and you know, let's get it done. Instead, we're still dicking around here almost a year later.
Yep.
You know, so yeah, let's work on that. Let's work on uninsured
Speaking of
drivers.
which, tomorrow's voting day.
Tomorrow is voting
election day. Make sure you get out there and do your civic duty.
Yep. Yeah. I'll tell you, this whole election thing though is a little weird this year, you know, because you know you got Biden and Trump, and that's it. And there's no debates. There's no this guy, that guy. Maybe this guy has a better idea. Hey, let's see. My buddy TJ is checking in. How you doing, TJ? We'll be seeing you for bike nights before you know it. TJ usually sells the raffle tickets for the Abate bike, and you know spring is coming when he starts selling tickets. Yep. You know, it's every bike night. TJ will be there. Hey, Jaybird's checking in from Florida.
Speaking of weed in Michigan,
yeah, speaking of weed in Michigan and stuff, and then all of a sudden Jaybird appears. Oh yeah, hey, there you go, Jay. We got the cup from the White House right here. We got the glass here, and we're just sipping Crown Royal. Oh, TJ has the tickets now. So if you want to win we always give away a really sweet motorcycle too. Every year, Bait of Ohio, that's the big fundraiser. And you know, if you see TJ out and about at any bike night, it's a really sweet bike, man. And we always get something good, and it's got a trailer with it. And usually, Margaritaville in Sandusky's where the drawing takes place at the end of August. And if you're there and they draw your name, they take care of all the taxes too. So all you have to do is jump on it and
ride into the
slap
sunset.
A license plate on it, and away you go.
Where's TJ going to be next to buy those if somebody's interested?
Well, probably the Ice House, I'm sure.
Okay.
And, you know, you'll be seeing him out there. Probably you know where I know where he'll be. I can tell you where he'll be. He'll be at the Yankee Lake Swap Meet coming up on Saturday over at Yankee Lake Ballroom. So I guarantee you TJ will be there right at the front door. And first thing you see when you walk in will be TJ and our friends from Abate, and you get your tickets. Barb Cerny checking in. How you doing, Barb? I'm a little disappointed Barb didn't show up for St. Patty's Day festivities. You know,
it's a shame.
I know. She's
only comes once a year.
She's on the list. I'll tell you what though. And Jaybird got to rub it in that he's in Florida. You know, he could have just said hello. Did he have to say hello? I'm in Florida, or could he just say, "Hey, how you doing?" You know,
rubbing it in.
Yeah,
it snowed today, Jaybird. By the way,
yeah, it snowed today, Jace. Just so you know, you son of a gun. And then, yeah, I'll tell you what though. Okay, Barb, sorry. I'll buy you a beer for your birthday, Barb, next time I see you. Or you should buy me one for your birthday. You owe me.
He's getting off drinking for a couple days, so take
a couple
easy
minutes. Hey, I'll tell you what. St. Patty's Day this year was insane. I was at the Magic Tree. Well, I started my whole St. Patrick's Day like probably almost 2 weeks ago. Dropkick Murphys at Packard Music Hall. If you are not a fan of Dropkick Murphys or you don't know about them, they're this Irish punk rock, hard rock band from Boston, and they just rock. They're like the Ramones. They're like the Ramones. They just start at one level and they don't stop.
Just rampant.
And one of the things on my bucket list was always to go see Dropkick Murphys St. Patrick's Day in Boston. I guess that's like the holy grail of St. Patrick's Day celebrations. There's some videos out there at one point where they were playing and a fight broke out and the band like jumped off the stage and got into the Donnybrook. Oh yeah.
The Irish. I love them.
So I started with Dropkick Murphys. And then from there, it was the St. Patrick's Day parade. And then from there, it was the after party at Magic Tree. And then this week, let's see, Saturday, I was out at Lowville Rod and Gun Club for their gun raffle. That's always a good time. And then Sunday, all day, we were at Magic Tree. But I'll tell you, Saturday, there were so many people out partying. Frenchie's was packed. Crickets, you couldn't get near the place. Magic Tree was jamming on Saturday. Friday, some of these places were jamming on Friday too. And I was thinking, man, I hope everybody saved a little bit for Sunday, you know? And obviously they did. Obviously they did. You know, they had a pub crawl in Liberty and Girard, and you know, it was just, you know, Sharon was jamming. They had their parade, and they had you know, a lot of stuff going on down at the Lube. And I'll tell you what, man, people were just out in force and ready to party. It was just balls out all weekend.
So what did you drink on did you try anything new? Did you stick to the old guns?
Yeah, I stuck to the old guns. You know what my favorite is to this day? It's the Irish Car Bomb.
Yeah. That
is, to me, the perfect drink. You get a glass of Guinness, you get a half a shot of Jameson, you get a half a shot of Bailey's, and you drop that shot glass in like a Boilermaker, boom, and down the hatch. And those, yeah, I even brought this up. It's like, why don't we drink Irish Car Bombs all the time? Why do we wait till St. Patrick's Day? You know, we don't drink, you know, margaritas on Cinco de Mayo, and that's it. You know, everybody wants to drink a margarita any time of the year. But it's just like, it seems like Irish Car Bombs come along and it says like, oh, St. Patty's Day treat, you know? So
do you drink eggnog outside of Christmas?
I don't drink eggnog inside of Christmas.
It's got to be special, celebratory.
No. Hey, Keith Sturgeon, artist extraordinaire, checking in. He's working on a little project. Hopefully we might be able to get that rolling. I'm hoping. Let's see here. Hey, he just said, how you doing, Joe? And getting back to Jaybird, he did have to chime in that it's only been in the 80s in Florida this week.
Why do you got to be a jerk, man?
Yeah, really. You know what? You know.
Why don't you say it's raining and miserable?
I'll tell you what was crazy. Last night, I'm coming back from the Magic Tree, right around 10:30 or so, and it started snowing like crazy. And I mean, the roads were really snow covered and hazardous. but by about that time, everybody was home. But it was like, and I posted a picture on Facebook, and I was like, look out, man, if you're going out there,
Freaking whiteout.
yeah, and the roads were really, really slick. And by the time I got from like Boardman and Niles, it quit and all the snow melted. It was like, how did that even happen? I had to repost on there. I said, okay, never mind. It's over.
Right.
But it was just like, 680 was snow covered and slippery,
yeah.
and people were sliding all over the place. Oh, how about that one that they had a couple weeks ago over on one of the 680 or something? It looked like a wreck at a NASCAR race, man. There was a bunch of them.
Yeah.
But oh, okay. Yeah, Jaybird said it's raining.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Jaybird, thank
Jay.
you.
Yeah, okay.
We feel better.
But you know what, though? Before all this goofy climate stuff that's been going on, if you remember back in the day, it was almost a sure bet that there was going to be a blizzard right around St. Patrick's Day.
For sure.
I can remember a lot of times, and even on April Fool's Day, between St. Patty's Day and April Fool's Day, there was always that one last really bad blizzard. And it was almost to the point where you could almost bet on it, and it's changed a little bit now. So, all right. I think that's it. You ready to wrap this up?
Sure.
Yeah. Or you want me
Suck
to take
that sucker down.
You want me to take another sip here?
I got some liver supplements back there. You're good.
Yeah. Hey, I'm celebrating by having a green liver. Well, we might as well sit and chit chat while I finish this off here.
So this weekend we do a annual ski trip, and we went down to Seven Springs this weekend. No snow whatsoever. So this is like the first time that we went skiing and we didn't ski.
So what do they do? They have little roller coaster things. And
we didn't even go to the mountain. We just hung out in the cabin and had fires and drank bourbon.
That's usually my ski expedition anyways. That's okay. So you went on a ski trip. That's my idea of a ski trip. Sitting in the cabin, sitting in the lodge, a little fire going, and
drinking some bourbon.
Sipping the bourbon. Yeah. Okay. That's what skiing's about, right?
That's what it is. It was the best ski trip ever.
Okay. I thought I was doing it wrong. All right. It's like when I go golfing though, too, pretty much the same thing.
You a good golfer?
No. I drive the hospitality cart.
Okay.
That's what I do.
Okay.
Somebody has to do that,
Got to serve your term, right?
Right. I mean, if you don't have hospitality, it's not really a golf outing. Why bother? I mean, I think that's...
But don't they usually dress up, blonde short skirts to do that?
Oh, well, somebody got to take them around on the carts. How are they going to get from point A to point B?
That's true.
If you're not there to chauffeur them around.
To escort them.
Right.
Escort them.
Yeah. So somebody's got to do it.
Well, thank you. The service to your community.
I'm glad you guys. Hey, did you get your BlackBerry crown yet?
I didn't. No. We got new stock.
Have you seen I haven't seen anything. I haven't seen anything.
I was just over at AC Beverage the other day. Not having any.
I got to tell you, that AC Beverage amazed me. When I stopped down there, what was that, a couple weeks ago, when I bought a bottle for my sister, who then ran back down there and bought the second bottle and gave it to her son instead of the guy that bought the first bottle.
What the heck?
And I'm still, and I'm still thinking, why did I go down there? Why did I go down there for her? But if somebody says, hey, could you run down there and, whatever. Yeah, okay, I'll run down there. And then, when I said, can I get two? No, one per person. And so then I take that back, and then she gets in her car and runs down there and gets one for her son. That's pretty low.
That's very low.
Especially for the BlackBerry crown, because I was talking about the BlackBerry crown from day one. And it's been mixed reaction. Some people think it tastes too much like cough syrup. Other people really dig it with the blackberry ginger ale or the lemonade. Those are the two. But I guess, with the lemonade is the way you really want to go with that. So that'll be a cool, refreshing summer drink.
A flavor for everyone, though. I mean, everybody's got their tastes,
But the AC Beverage in downtown Youngstown, I was amazed at that place. You know what? I thought, I never knew what it was like in there. And I thought I was going to pull in there and there's going to be some like winos laying out in the parking lot and some guy trying to hit me up for $1. Yeah. And I walked in that place. I go, what?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a, top-notch liquor store. It really is.
And they're good people up there. I love community businesses like that. They're awesome.
Yeah, Jay Bird is right. Golf. What kind of sport is it that you whack a ball 200 yards and then run after it?
And
That's why we ride motorcycles. You could be on the golf course all day, or you could be on a motorcycle all day.
dude, and golf
what am I
is
gonna do?
not cheap whatsoever. I heard some guys that went down to North Carolina and paid $400 for 18 holes. I could not imagine that.
Oh,
$400.
That's why. Get yourself a motorcycle. It'll save you on the aggravation. That's why. Why would I pay $400 to aggravate myself? Especially, I suck at golf. I suck at golf. So why would I want to do that? It would just piss me off. You miss a putt, you swing, you miss the ball, goes in the woods, it goes in the water.
Your friends make fun of you. They tell you to hang your pecker out if you don't hit it a certain way. I hate it.
Yeah. So we would rather, you know what? If we get on a motorcycle and go all day, you could probably go all day for $50, $60, $70
and see the country.
Yes. Yeah. Not see it, be a part of it.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite slogans. Back in the day, Honda motorcycles, that was their slogan. And I don't know why people don't use it today. You could look at the scenery, or you could be a part of it. And that's what it is on a motorcycle. You're not looking at the scenery. You are in the scenery. You're a part of it.
When I'm driving the motorhome and I'm going through the mountains or whatever, there has to be a spot to support like a big bus. And I'm thinking, if I had a motorcycle, I could stop at every one of these little locations and enjoy it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm sure that, we'll be out there, TJ will be selling those tickets coming up, and Jay Bird will be heading up to Cougar Bob's and Foxburg and all our favorite little places, and Ohio Bike Week. And it's all coming up, the Motorcycle Memorial down in Hopewell, and just all these places we go to, the Bullpen in Avila, Pennsylvania. It's just, it's just, Geneva on the Lake, Ohio Bike Week. It's just a blast. So
now, what's your sweet spot where the roads get patched up and the gravel's all off the road, where it becomes safe enough to do it regularly?
Yeah, well, people are riding right now, and I don't think the roads are that bad right now anyways. Fortunately, that's one thing. We didn't have that rough of a winter, so It's not like there's a million potholes out there. But I know a lot of people like to wait until the gravel's off the road, and which will be in a couple weeks. Little rain to wash it off, and then they get out with the street cleaners and that kind of stuff. But we're looking forward, knock on wood, God willing, everybody's healthy, everybody's still around, that we'll get back out there. And I can't wait, man. Big summer coming up. A lot of big events. We got a big bike thing going on at the end of June over at Bike Town in Austintown. And last year we had it. This year they have made so many improvements. It's going to be bigger and better than ever. I can't wait to see how that's going to go. And of course, I'm always at the Brothers Regime Chicken Roast, second Saturday in July. I know I got that. We got the Wilson High Run at the end of August, and I got a lot of stuff here I got to get to, man.
Pierogies done for the year?
Was that?
Pierogies done for the year?
Oh, no. We go
still going.
No, yeah, we go until Memorial Day.
Okay.
Oh, that's another one. Memorial Day. Jay Bird says we got to eat some gummy. Yeah, we got gummies to eat.
Gummy bears. That's cool. You like your tasty treats.
Yeah, you know what? He's got gummy bears. I think he's banned from the gummy bears. I'm going to tell you, if they see him coming back this year, we go to the Harley shop, and these people had these gummy bears. And I'm thinking, okay, these can't be real. This is the state of Ohio. And somebody, Jay Bird, who we won't mention, was just telling everybody, hey, if you don't want yours, I'll take it. Get one for me. And we lost Jay Bird later in the day.
Poor Jay Bird.
We towards the end of the day, I don't know. We still don't exactly know what happened to Jay Bird after that, but it was, I think they have a picture of him there. I think he's banned from the gummy bear display, the free gummies. But they were real. They worked. I'll tell you that right now.
Yep.
I'll tell you that they worked right now. All right, let me finish this, and then let's get out of here. We'll wrap it up, and we'll be back next week. Oh, what's next week? Oh, what's the date next week? 27th. The 27th?
25th.
Okay, next week. I'm not sure what we're going to do next week. The following week, we're going to have Paul Scourin back because they're doing another Noisy Mama reunion at West Side Bowl. That's going to be a lot of fun. So we're going to have Paul and the guys from Noisy Mama, and the Borstal Boys will be opening. We had them in here before. So I think we'll do all that on online, Zoom call or whatever. And then May 26th. The downtown Youngstown Amphitheater. This is going to be the big kahuna of them all because it covers everything that we talk about on this show. It's the Left End reunion to salute the Idora Park Spring thing, featuring the house band with some members of Michael Stanley.
Do I have to hit it for Michael Stanley?
Oh, yeah,
let's do it.
So. And we're also going to relive the days of the Tomorrow Club. So
the trifecta.
If we could bring Boots Bell back, we definitely would. So that's going to be coming up. Oh, yeah. And then this weekend, Sunday, we got the Yankee Lake Swap Meet. So that's what's going on. Cheers, Joe. Thanks for another good day. Everybody, thanks for, putting up with us here for a little bit and joining in and getting in on the conversation. And we'll catch you here. Well, I'll catch you tomorrow afternoon at 3. Oh, a couple concert announcements too. ELO one last time, and they're going to be playing in Pittsburgh and Cleveland in September. And we'll have tickets to win starting Wednesday. And Stone Temple Pilots are going to be at Blossom Music Center. We'll have tickets for that to give away. But ELO, I hope I can make it to this show, but you know what? There are so many good shows this summer. I don't know if I possibly can, plus with all my other stuff, but I really hope I get a chance to see them. The last time they were around, it was just phenomenal. And, and they have so many great songs that you forget about: Sweet Talking Woman and Strange Magic and Telephone Line and Do You Want My Love and Don't Bring Me Down. All those great songs, and Jeff Lynne is such a perfectionist, and the show is really great. So I think that's it now. Let's wrap up, because if I take another sip of this, I'll be talking for another 10 minutes. Do I got the white crusty stuff on the end of my mouth?
Good. You're good.
That's when I know when it's usually time to stop. Well, that's what's supposed to be the warning, but usually it goes a little bit beyond that. So, but once I start, doing that, it's like, okay, I'm talking too much. All right, hey, take care, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow at 3 o'clock, Y103. Peace out.
Thank you for listening to this show on Youngstown Studio. This is original Youngstown content. Feel free to share our videos and tell your friends about us. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Facebook.